Hi, welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, well, I've got a super exciting one as I finally have my hands on the one that I've been after for a while. The RC10T from Team Associated. And I know what you're thinking. Why are you so late? Well, it's like this. In the UK, there was none of these. Literally, Team Associated, or Thunder Tiger, whoever you want to call it, decided that they weren't going to send that many of these kits to the UK, so no one had them, and I really wanted to get one of these because obviously being an RC10 fan, I really wanted to add this to the collection, but I couldn't get one. Luckily, a RCKicks patron sold me his one as he knew he was never going to get around to building it in time, so he let me have it at what he paid for it. Since then, it's been sitting over there while I've been busy fixing fences and stuff while I've been off for a while. And it looks like Thunder Tiger got the message that we were a little bit upset that there was no RC10Ts in Europe. And now they're available. I had a look this morning and I could see a few online RC shops that had them available. So if you want one of these, I wouldn't hang around. Now, I am a big fan of this and I really wanted to add this one to my collection as I've got the RC10T2. But we'll come on to that a little bit later. So what can we tell you about the RC10T? Well, it turns out this really exists because of you. As when the RC10 came out, people started modifying it and changing it, and this kind of organically grew out of people modifying their RC10s. And then Team Associated decided, well, they've got to produce one, and that's where the RC10T came from. But it was never part of their master plan to actually produce this, and it wasn't really, it was them responding to the market, not them driving the market, if that makes sense. Now, Team Associated have done some fantastic videos on talking about the RC10T, so I'll link them in the description, and they are really worth watching. And I'm surprised their view count is so low. They're really, really good. So I highly recommend going out and going over and watching those after you finish watching this video, obviously, because it really goes into the history of this truck. In this episode, we're just going to be looking what's in the box, and we're going to be comparing it to my RC10T2, which came along a little bit later. Now, this came out, hold on, I've got my cheat sheet here, and it came out in 1995. So let's open it up, take a look at it, and we'll compare it to this one. Oh. Also, I have another body for this to paint it up that I managed to get hold of finally, so that's on the list of things to do. Right, let's get this box open, and I haven't cheated. This is going to be the first time I've seen what's in this kit, just like you are now. Didn't realise there was 3 labels on it stopping you getting into it, but we finally get through them all, and then we can open up the box. Now, the first thing we're presented with is the body. Now, the original RC10T had a slightly more squarer body than the RC10T2, and then the T3 was even more rounded. Was surprised how thin this body felt. Didn't feel very solid compared to my T2 body that I had, but hey, this one's really going to go on the shelf anyway, so doesn't really matter, I guess. Next up is the vintage tyres. Now, it's really nice to see that they actually put the thinner tyres on the front like they did originally when they first released it. Now, it turns out that these front wheels are still wider than the original vintage versions, but I like the thinner tyres on the front, and it's nice to see the 3-piece rims are still in the kit. Next bag up is the arms and the bulkhead. So let's open it up and take a look. Now, everything's cream, it's not bright white. And I was surprised just how different the rear arms are compared to my RC10T2. The RC10T lower arms are really thick compared to the RC10T2, as you can see here. So they really did make some changes between the first kit and the second one. Also, the bulkhead was totally redesigned between the two kits, as is the tower. I'm actually quite surprised just how much Team Associated changed between the RC10T and the RC10T2. The chassis, again, very different. The RC10T was very much following along the lines of the RC10, but the RC10T2 completely changed it, streamlined it down, and then curved the edges so that when the truck rolls, it didn't impact the floor. Now the RC10T did come with the stealth transmission, which is exactly what we see here. Unfortunately, in this kit you still get brass bushes, but I'm guessing most of these are going to end up as shelf queens, so I guess it doesn't really matter as they're trying to keep the kit price down. As you can see on the RC10T2, it had the stealth transmission as well. One thing that's a little bit of a shame is that they've actually fitted the gold RC10 shocks, whereas the original had silver, well, like just metal color shocks. So again, it's not going to be exactly the same as the original ones, but this was done to keep the kit prices down. Just like the rear, the front arms are completely different to the RC10T2, very chunky. As you can see here, they seem to really thin down the arms on the T2 versus the T1. The front tower does look very much like the T2 with some of the material removed, so you can see the evolution design for the front tower. Then we have the steering. Doesn't look that much different to the RC10. Looks, I don't know if it's slightly longer, but there we go. The RC10T actually came with proper turnbuckles, not like the threaded bar that you saw in the RC10. Now they do look a little bit different to the vintage ones. I think the vintage were silver where these are black. Could be wrong on that front. The bumper doesn't look that much different between the T and the T2. Then we get the manual. Yes, in this kit we actually get a physical manual, whereas the RC10 Rerelease that came out last year was a digital manual. Didn't go down very well, so I can understand that they went back to a manual. Apparently, this manual is not the best, and it has a few mistakes in it. Also, it's only a few pages, which is quite surprising. I did have a look at the vintage manual, and it is completely different. Mainly it's text with the odd photograph, and that was it. But I think it was a really good move for Team Associated to go back to a physical manual. So there you go, just a quick look at the RC10T. In the next episode for this one, we will be fully building it up. I will do the whole build in one video. So I'm going to paint up the body box art and then just do a full build. Hopefully it's going to be a bit of a success for Team Associated, as I'd still like to see more vintage kits coming from them over the next coming year. I honestly don't know. Comment below what would be another good kit for Team Associated to release from their vintage line. B2, B3? Just have to wait and see. Thanks so much. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell notification for the next video in this series. See you on the next one. Bye bye.